Good day, students. I hope you are well. Today, I want us to work finance question. It was a request from one of our friends from the TikTok family. I'm going to work question 7 from the paper, which was written in 2018, November 11, and it was paper 1. Finance is in paper 1, for in case you do not know. And just before I work it out, I'm aware that others requested the grade 12 content, which is, I think it's calculus and fundamental counting principle, which I'm going to work it out in one band. It's not really a difficult thing. So after this video, I'm going to upload it. Just keep an eye on my TikTok. Okay, I'm going to post it. I think it's going to be my next post, the grade 12 calculus and probability, which is counting principle. Let's check the details of this question. Question 7. So we have 3 questions there. Of course, 7.3 has 2 analysis there. Let us start with the first question. They say calculate the effective interest rate per annum if an investment earns interest at a rate of 11.5% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, so here the key words is to find the effective interest rate. By the way, this one is a percentage. Okay, it's the effective interest rate. So for in case you do not know the formula, we have a beautiful formula to calculate the effective interest rate. So I'm going to write question 7 just right here. Question 7 and then 7.1. We have 3 questions here. So we want to calculate the effective interest rate. I'm going to give you a formula here which states that you're going to have 1 plus the IEFF. Be careful there. That is going to equals to 1 plus the I norm. You divide this by the number of compounding period, which is your n. Raise this by the same variable n, which is the number of compounding period. Look, this IEFF here, it's basically your effective interest rate, and your I norm, that is your nominal interest rate, which if you can check, it's always compounded monthly or weekly or quarterly. In this case, it's compounded monthly. That means 12. So now let's solve it algebraically. I'm going to have 1 plus IEFF. Remember, you want to solve for the effective interest rate. That is going to equals to 1 plus the nominal interest rate, which is 0.115. We divide this by the number of compounding period, which is monthly, and that is 12, raised by the same n, which is 12, I mean to say, just right here. Okay, so that is 11.5%. It's primarily the same as 0.115 if you divide that 11.5 by 100. Okay, it's gonna ties down to that one. I think from here it's a basic algebra. You will know that you want to solve for the effective interest rate. So you're gonna have I, the subscript of EFF. You take away 1 from both sides of the equation. Allow me just to really duplicate this and take away 1 from there, and this will give you something. Just use a calculator. I'm gonna save time here and type it from where I'm seated, and if you do it carefully, you are going to get 12.13%. so that is the effective interest rate. I may need to just copy and paste it just right here. Okay, so that is how you're going to do the first question. They always ask it. You just have to know the formula. It's a grade 11 content. Now let's check 7.2. What are they looking for? They say Karabo bought a computer for 4,700. It's 4.7. The value of the computer depreciates at a rate of 18% per annum. Using the reducing balance method, calculate the book value of the computer 4 years after it was purchased. Okay, so here we are looking for the book value 4 years after it was purchased. So what I want you guys to notice is just to pick up something very important here, which is the reducing balance. So this is calculated on a reducing balance. All right. It's not really difficult, and we expect our money to be lower than 4.7, okay, because we want to calculate the book value or the scrapped value. Okay, so the main goal here is to underline the word reducing balance. Extremely important. Reducing balance method. So we are dealing with a depreciation, not appreciation. All right. Like your interest, the compound interest, yeah, it's a reducing balance. So now I want us to check something here. The money that you buy with, the money that you purchase, that is called the present amount. Okay, it's the value of P. So this amount, the month that you buy or the month that you purchase a particular item, is going to be the value of P. It's the present amount, all right? And then N is the number of years. Be very careful. And this is per annum, so you won't have to really multiply that with anything to remain 4. And you have the interest rate of 18%, which is primarily 0.18. Okay, so let's pen down that question. What are we given? Just write what you are given. So you are given N is 4, and you're given P is 4,700, and you're also given the interest rate, which is 0.18. All right. Well, you want to calculate A. So how do you calculate A? This is extremely easy. What you do is you pen down your formula. So it's a reducing balance. You're going to have A equaling to P into 1 minus I raised to the number of years. Okay, where I is the interest rate. So now you just need to use a calculator carefully. P, that is 4.7 or 4,700 into 1 minus 0.18. You raise this by the number of years. So it's not compounded, it's per annum. You're going to have only 4 there. But if it was compounded quarterly, you will have to multiply that 4 by 4 for quarterly, okay? And if you use calculator carefully here, you are going to get 2,124 97 cents. Okay, so that's what you guys get when you try to work this question out. That is 7.2. I hope you are understanding it, my friend. Okay, so we are done with the first 2 questions. So that means we'll have taken 6 marks so far on finance. You look at this one, it's 7 mark. So let's check what are they saying here. They are saying that Nhlanhla made an initial deposit of 20,000 into an investment account that paid an interest at the rate of 7.2% per annum, compounded quarterly. After 2 years, the interest rate after 2 years the interest rate changed to 7.8% per annum, compounded monthly. 4 years after his initial deposit, Nhlanhla withdrew 2.5 or 2,500 from his investment. Now, you need to be very careful here. You need to analyze this statement very well. Let me draw it on a timeline just to explain what is happening in there. I'm just going to have a timeline here. So timeline starts from T0. So let me have a T naught there, and then also have a T. How many years is this at the end of the day? Let me check. It's 2 years, and then 4 years after that. And then we don't know where it ends. Nhlanhla, calculate how much Nhlanhla had in this investment 2 years after. How much will the investment be worth? 7 years. Yeah, so this will be the end of the term, T7. Okay, this is the end of the term. But however, there's a change of something here. Now, the initial amount, pay attention, you have 20,000 as the initial amount. You have 20,000. Okay, now check something. Hlahla made an initial deposit of 20,000 into an investment account that paid that interest, which is 7.2% compounded quarterly. After 2 years, the interest rate, so after T2, so I'm going to have a T2 here. So that is going to be our T2. After T2, there was a change of interest rate. So let's write the first interest rate basically, which is 7.2%. Okay. So after 2 years, there was a change of interest rate compounded quarterly. So this was compounded quarterly. Allow me to divide this interest rate by 4 for quarterly. Okay. And then now the other one, after 2 years, there was a change there, which is basically a 7.8% compounded monthly. So this has to be divided by 12. It's monthly. So that is what we have so far. Pay attention. 4 years after his initial deposit, 4 years after. So that is basically far detached. I think possibly at this point here, we're going to have T4 there. At T4, Hlahla withdrew 2.5. So when we withdraw money, we have a negative, okay? So we withdraw 2.5 from this investment. Okay, so now this you don't know it. At the end of it, you don't know it. So it's probably your A. You're probably looking for your A at the end of 7 years. So that should be your A. Okay. So there's a change of interest here. Yeah? That means you're going to possibly multiply the interest rate. Remember, there's a change of interest rate. So you need to multiply your interest rate there. It's not really difficult. Let's take the first question. What are they saying? The first question. They say to you, calculate how much Hlahla had in this investment account 2 years after the initial deposit. 2 years after. Okay. So it's possibly 2 years after this region. Okay, so it's not really difficult. Allow me to copy this. I need this stuff here because that is 2 years after. I'm just going to put it here like this. Okay, so let's work it out. So that is 7.3. This is 7.3.1. So when you are dealing with a timeline, we always use a compound interest formula, which is A equaling to P into 1 plus I raised to the power N. Okay, so they want 2 years after this investment. So they want to check in that region, okay, how much he had after that T2. So that means you're going to have a 20,000 for the initial investment, 20,000 into 1 plus I. The interest of that is possibly 0.072. You divide this by 4, and then you have to raise this by 2 for this duration. Your N is 2 here, okay? That is your N, and then here your N should be possibly 5. Think about it, okay? Yeah. Now, this should be 2 multiplied by 4. And you just need to use a calculator. This is they want 2 years after the initial deposit. So this was after the initial deposit right there. So use calculator here, and you're going to get 23,000. Okay. Use calculator. You are going to get this amount here. That's what you guys get. Okay, and then now you need to check the other question. So how many marks was this? This was 3 marks. It's not really a complex thing. Let's check where you get the marks. You get the marks from the correct formula, the correct substitution, and your final answer there. That's you. Now, I want us to check the next question. How much will the investment be worth 7 years after the initial deposit was made? So that's where they are going to also look for your withdrawal of that amount. Okay, so check what you do. There was a change of interest right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that 7.3.2, they want at the end of the term. So, but there's a change of interest here. How do I do this? I'm going to say that, well, first thing first, I'm going to put my formula down, which is A equaling to P into 1 plus I to the power N. So I need to be very careful because there's a change of interest. I need to multiply that. So this is your investment, is the initial investment, which is going to be 20,000 into the first one, and that is 1 plus the interest rate is 0.072 there. 0.072. You divide this by that compounding period, which is 4. You say, well, you're going to multiply this n by 4. So let me put 8. Okay, just say it's 2 times 4. You need to multiply this by the interest of that. Okay, so that is more like 0.078. So this is 1 plus 0.078. You divide this by 12, and then you raise this by the n there. The n of that interest is possibly 5. This should be 5, eh? That is 5 times 12. So this is 5 times 12. Where do I get the 5? We are talking about this duration here. So that is 5 years, okay, for that interest. So now we need to subtract. Now we need to subtract 2.5. That's where we are subtracting. So 2.5 has only this duration here. That's where you have this duration. So here is possibly n equaling to 7 minus 3 is possibly, 7 minus 4 is 3. So it's that duration. You subtract that, it's going to give you n as 3 there. But the interest rate is that one, okay, of that 3 years. So you're going to have 1 and then a plus the interest rate of that space. So that is 0.078. You divide this by 12, raised by the n of that space, that is 3, multiplied by the compounding period there, which is going to be 12. And I think from here, you just need to use a calculator, and you need to be very careful. You get some 30K there. You get 30K there. 30,871.48. So this is what you must get when you use the timeline. I hope you benefited it. Thank you so much for watching up to the end of it. Up until next time, please don't forget to comment any topic that you want me to work it out. I'm going to post the grade 12 in my next video for calculus and your fundamental counting principle, which is probability.